We all have heard about the working moms who struggle to balance dinner, homework, and diapers. But what about the increasing number of fathers who strive to do the same thing? Kenny is here along with Armin Brott, the author of 6 best-selling books on fathering, including his most recent, Fathering Your Toddler, A Dad's Guide to the Second and Third Years. Armin and Peter, good to see you.
Hey, good to be here.
Peter, let me first ask you, I just watching that, I was exhausted. You and your wife both work. You got these 3 kids. How do you fit it all in?
A little bit. Thankfully, we're too busy to actually think about it, so we get by. But, you kind of do as best you can. There's a deadline every few seconds, so whatever you have to do next, you just do it, and you kind of let few things slide.
How unusual is Peter? For these dads who are trying to be there, be involved, are there certain challenges that are facing guys like Peter?
One of the biggest challenges, there are getting to be more and more dads like Peter, but one of the biggest challenges is that Peter and the other guys who are trying to do this are trying to do it all by themselves, essentially. We don't have a lot of role models. We're kind of the first generation of dads who are expected to do things differently. And so it's really a question of not being able to look at our own dads or our friends down the block and how do you figure out what you're going to do?
In a way, kind of trailblazing.
Trailblazing, exactly. You're just out there doing it and you make mistakes, just like moms have been making for millions of years, and you figure out how to do it.
Peter, what kind of pressure is there for you both at home and at work?
The pressure is probably the greatest. Trying to juggle. I just started a new business and trying to juggle the demands of new clients and new projects.
What's the business?
It's advertising. So when my clients call at 6:10 when I'm coaching t-ball, and so it's trying to get their needs kind of fit into the family needs are very ritualized, and it's the same thing every day. But when things like illness or a demanding client kind of throws your little perfect schedule off, that's the hard day.
So Armin, what do you do? You've got some tips. For example, to start off with, you say define fatherhood expectations. What do you mean?
Well, first of all, I think you've got to define success. You define success, that's the biggest thing. I think we think of success in terms of big job, big house, big salary. Really have to define it so that it includes time with the family, time with the kids, time with the wife.
And in fact, you talk about making a commitment to family time.
You really have to do that, and you have to kind of do a little bit what Peter's talking about, except at home, turn off the cell phone, turn off the BlackBerry, turn it all off, get down on your hands and knees, and play with the kids. The kids really need our time and our focus much more than they need anything else.
And then pushing for flexible work hours. And I assume, Peter, for you, that's not quite so bad because you're your own boss. But for people who are in the normal 9-to-5 workaday world, that can be difficult, can it?
It can. It's hard to push for flexible work hours because so much of our identity as males is how much we make and what we work and what we do. So it's really a question of trying to approach your employer, come up with a plan, and say they have a right to have the job done they hired you to do. But you want to take off a little bit early, come in a little bit early. How are you going to do that? How is the job going to get done?
Peter, do you worry about your work suffering because you're a committed dad?
I do, but a lot of people I work with kind of know that there are black holes of time in our day where we're being a parent or being a dad, but they expect us at 8 o'clock to 11:30 to be able to respond to whatever their needs are. So the internet has been a blessing, but it's also extends your day, and it's a little bit of a curse, too.
Because you can't get away sometimes, unless you turn off the BlackBerry and the phone.
Which is hard, but you got to do it.
All right. Well, Peter, Kenny, Armin Brott, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. We'll be back in a moment, but first, this is Today.